Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. We are excited to have you all participating in today's mastermind call. I am Dakota Spillman with Leverage Global Partners, and joining us today is partner and head of sales, Tracy Simmons, from our alliance partner, Loft 47. As you may know, Loft 47 is an application for brokerages to manage commissions on residential and commercial real estate transactions. Loft tracks commissions earned, disbursements, and automates agent fees to make the basics of paying out deals simple. Behind the scenes, Loft provides complete accounting entries to Xero to ensure you are staying compliant. They handle all deal-related financial activity and provide you and your agents financial and production reporting. Today, Tracy will be taking us through a demo of the software. We will have time for questions, so please feel free to submit them through the chat box or ask them directly at the end. We were referred to Loft 47 by Red Oak Realty, a well-known leverage member out of Oakland and Berkeley, California, who has seen a lot of success in streamlining their operations with this platform. This call is being recorded, and we will circulate the recording to everyone later today. As a reminder, we ask that you mute your phones and computers while you are not speaking so that we can maintain the audio quality. That being said, I will check in with Tracy. Tracy, are you there?
I'm here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Dakota. And let me know if we have any audio problems. I know we had a little hiccup last time.
Will do. You sound great.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for having me on the mastermind today, and thanks to everyone that's joining us. Definitely appreciate your time, and I know this is a very busy time of year, especially talking about accounting, of course. Switching accounting software is never the easiest thing in the world to do, but it's certainly achievable, and doing such at or close to a year end is always a great idea, because the agent's annual earnings and fee structures quite often reset at the end of December. So if you are considering making a change to your accounting platform, don't be scared to do it, even though you've missed your calendar year. With Loft, we do make switching very easy any time of year, because we import agent records as far as year-to-date information. So if you were to make a switch in, say, March, for example, with the Loft system, we can go ahead and do a pretty simple import of year-to-date, number of ends on the list side and sell side, residential versus commercial, agent production and deduction information from Jan 1 to, whatever the switch date is. So I just want to sort of just bring that up. And when you do a switch in that manner, a really nicely organized switchover, that ensures that your 1099s are correct for the following year reporting. So if you were to make a switch anywhere through 2019 to Loft, we would be working with you to make sure that your 1099s were ready for the end of the calendar year next. So the ease of switching over to the Loft system is just one of the benefits to utilizing our program. And I'm going to make just a few comments about other notable benefits. And it really depends what software you're coming from. So if you're coming from using spreadsheets and just an accounting platform, if you're coming from a legacy software like a Lone Wolf or an Emphasis or something like that, then there are some really clear, notable differences and benefits that you can realize very easily. And that one of those items is that Loft is completely cloud-based and mobile responsive. So it runs on any device, including your tablet or a smartphone. Loft allows for agent logins, which the legacy systems typically do not. So where an agent can log in right from their phone, they can see their deals, they can see their production information, they can predict their income based on deals that have been entered yet, but not yet closed. So the other thing that's really cool for agents is that there are self-serve 1099s in the system. So we really want to help our clients move some of the burden from the administrative folks back to just self-serve for the agents. I mean, they like to be able to have that data. I know I was an agent, and would have been really nice to be able to, you know, at 10 o'clock at night, be looking at my numbers and seeing my live data. The other component that's really important, no matter which software you pick, you really should pick things that integrate. So for example, with the Loft system, we integrate with dotloop, DocuSign transaction rooms, and SkySlope. So what that gives us the opportunity to do is we import our deals directly from those platforms. So we are never entering this data again. So this particular deal came from dotloop. All of the details were inside the deal already in the loop, including the people on the transaction. Of course, that deal creation, that initial deal creation, told the program which agents were on the deal. So we already knew which agent was on the deal, and based on our setup, we also know how much money we're going to be earning from that agent. So without even doing any data entry at all, if we are using SkySlope or dotloop or DocuSign transaction rooms, then we're just able to go ahead and process this deal and pay out the commissions when the timing is correct for that. And our goal at Loft is to make sure that our clients are doing as little data entry as possible to get the results that they need to run the brokerage. We want to make sure that you know, that you're able to pay out these commissions, as Dakota had mentioned. You know, tracking these commissions, dispersing them, and automating the agent's fees. This makes the basics of paying out a deal simple, plain and simple. It just really does. And we really want you to have the benefit of you know, not doing that that crazy amount of data entry. So what we're looking at here is we're in the live product and we're on the deal summary page. And we can see all of our different transactions. And I'm using, in my example, my demo data, I'm using approval processes for financial approvals. So for example, when I want approval for a deal, I can go ahead and ask my boss, hey boss, can you please approve? And that person can either approve or reject the payout. So this gives you some nice visibility. If you're moving everything to an online platform, then you need to move some of that communication online as well. If your broker is no longer sitting there with a stack of paper file folders to go ahead and review and approve. So this makes it really simple for both the administrator to ask questions and ask for approvals, and for the broker to do those approvals or you know, give more information to the administrator as you go, so that you're no longer bound to the physical location of your desk when you're trying to approve deals. And one of the nice things about that as well is that inside the Loft deal in the program, we're keeping sort of track of that history. So who created the deal and who asked for a review or an approval, and when did that take place? So being able to sort of track and keep track of what's going on with those transactions and the communication around them just makes it really, really, really easy for everybody to know what's going on all at the same time. So what I want to talk a little bit about is the agent's deduction plans. This is always a question that we're asked, of course, during our one-on-one broker demos. So what kind of commission structures can the Loft program manage and handle? And the answer to that is pretty close to anything. So in this case, I'm showing you a fee that is a graduated split. And in my case, I'm rolling this fee over on the calendar year. It's really straightforward for us because we have these fee levels. So I've said from 60,000 or from 0 to 50,000 in gross commissions, we're going to be working with a 60-40 split with this agent. And then after 50,000 commissions $50,000 of commissions. We're going to go from 50 to 80 grand at 30%. We're going to go from 80 to 110 grand at 20%. And then we're going to stop taking the commission split for the year. So that's an easy fee for us to set up. And these fees can be based on pretty much anything. So in my case, I'm basing this on gross commission, but it could just as easily be based on net to the brokerage. So I might say, until I have $10,000 of money in the brokerage income for this agent, I'm going to take this percent. And then once I have 10,000 until I have 15,000, I'm going to take a lesser percent. And then I'm going to cap it at the year. So any of those sort of scenarios are easily accomplished in the program. Some of you may have more of a deal fee structure instead of a split. That's very easy to set up as well. And in this case, I said it's a standard fee, take $200 forever. However, I could just as easily create a little override here. So I might say take 100, so let's say that we'll take 200 from 0 to 5 deals. And then we can go ahead and say we're going to take 150 from 6 deals until 20 deals, right? So real simple to go ahead and override those types of scenarios and have them show up right on the deals. So easy agent management. Now, when I bring a deal in from my transaction system like dotloop or DocuSign or SkySlope, or if I'm manually entering the deals, that's completely perfect as well. It takes just under a minute to enter a new deal. But as soon as I have that deal in the system and I know the agent on the deal, I now know how much money I'm going to make. So Jenny is going to earn me almost 4 grand on this deal based on the split deal that I've set up with her and the gross commissions that are on this particular transaction. Because we know that information, we're able to go ahead and see income projections. So we can have whatever date range we need to here, and I'm just going to widen my date range up a bit. So I can see the type of incomes I'm going to be earning in this date range, and I've got a split with cap, I've got a generic split, I've got my deal fee as I mentioned. So I have all these different items that I'm earning money for my brokerage from. And again, I haven't done a bunch of work to make this happen. All I've done is make sure that my deals are in the system and that my agents have their commission plan set up. I can also see this type of information by agent. So now I want to be able to see who's earning me money or who might be in a bit of trouble here. So it does make it really easy for me to see what's going on in my company, both in the future as well as what has already happened. So with the Loft system, what we're doing here is tracking these deals and we're paying them out to the agents. We're tracking all of that production detail. We're getting all the 1099 information gathering up as the year goes along. And we're getting that data from the transaction platforms. What we're going to do next with that data is we're going to send it over to Xero. And Xero is a very strong competitor to QuickBooks. Xero is a completely cloud-based online accounting platform that was built as a cloud-based platform. So just for that reason alone, it has a ton of huge benefits. With the Xero platform, we're sending all of this detailed data related to our commission payouts directly into the Xero program. So this income statement is pretty standard fodder for a real estate brokerage. We have gross commission income, that's our top line commission. We have the commission that we paid out to our agents, and then we have the commission that we paid out for our referrals to outside brokers on the occasion that we would actually be paying those. So all of these line items that are showing up here in the income statement are automatically generated by virtue of me paying these deals out in the Loft system. When I look at information, and this is so important to brokerages, when I look at detail information, for example, I earn most of my money from my office split. And when I look at the detail information here, I'm just gonna basically click on the number to drill down, and and the way that the Xero program integrated with Loft works is that I can see penny by penny, deal by deal, agent by agent, where I earned this money from. So no longer will you look at your financial statements and think, you know, okay, well, that said that I had $151,000, but did I really? What actually happened? What made up those numbers? And I might look at a deal and think, oh, geez, this Tallwood Street deal, I don't remember that one. You know, why was the split as high as it was? I would have thought Dan would have been further along his split by August 20th. And the cool thing about the way that the integration works is that, yes, they're two programs, but I can not only see the detail for the entries that come through, automated through the API, but I can also click here to link directly back into Loft, right back into that deal to see if there is any communication with Dan about the transaction, see what kind of, where he was at in his split at that particular point in time. And I can see that I actually overrode the split for some reason. So that gives me now a starting place to go figure out or talk to my administrator about what happened on that particular deal. And that's the nice thing about having that type of transparency, is that you no longer have to go dig out a paper file and try to wonder and, you know, just try to figure out what the heck happened, because we can drill down and see this information directly, pop back into the deal itself, and answer any kind of mysterious questions that we need to. One of the really cool things about Xero that I want to mention is that the Xero program, because it is a truly online, state-of-the-art accounting system, it links up with most bank accounts. So right now, if you're using a piece of software that does not have bank feeds, it's taking you a long time to do your paper bank reconciliation. Once you're dealing with a piece of software that has a bank feed, it basically cuts your reconciliation time down by 75%. And Xero also has credit card feeds. Many brokerages do use a corporate credit card to capture a lot of their expenses and advertising expenses, especially online type expenses. So all of these items are really easily accommodated when you're using really good modern software that all links together to make your life easy. On the Loft side, we've talked a little bit about how deals get into the system via those integrations or manually entering them if need be. We've talked a little bit about the income projections of the brokerage. Built into the system, of course, as well, is the ability for you to rank your agents if that's something that you do on a monthly basis with your office meetings and things like that. We can rank those agents by your criteria: end count, gross pay, gross commission, I should say, net pay, sales volume. And we can see the summary of the detail that's being generated by the date range that I have selected. One of the nice things about the Loft system is that I can go ahead and download this information. So one of the comments we do get from a number of our clients when they come on board is that they're not sure the numbers that they've been working with are correct, because they don't have a direct correlation or drill down to what made up those numbers. So that's no longer a problem for our clients, because they can go ahead and simply download this information, and we're going to see down to the penny, down to the dime, down to the nickel, that these numbers all add up. So that makes it pretty easy for us to have confidence in the software when we're looking at our reporting and looking at our performance from our agents, etc. So one thing I'm going to show you here is I'm going to log out and I'm going to log back in as an agent so that you all can see what their view looks like. So I'm going to log in as my agent, Jenny, that we've been using as an example. And Jenny sees exactly the same program as the administrators and brokers see, except that it's completely scoped down to just Jenny's information. So Jenny can only see transactions that Jenny is a part of. Jenny can download her deals if she wishes to. So she doesn't now have to sort of keep multiple sets of records of closed deals and things like that. She can filter her deals. She can say, I want to see just my closed deals, and she has 21 of those. If she wants to, she can also go ahead and select a date range to look at deals in. So if she's worked for the brokerage for a number of years and her data is all in here, then she can go ahead and pick that date range. And again, she can export that information. When Jenny looks at a deal, if the deal has closed, then Jenny will see a completed pay stub. If the deal has not closed, she will see a pending pay stub. So this really gives the agent the opportunity to ask questions of the broker or administrative staff prior to that payment being made. And then, of course, we all know what happens. So Jenny comes back and says, ooh, sorry, there was a referral on the deal. I didn't tell you guys. So now you're looking at reversing and recutting checks. Whereas with the Loft system, what can be done here is we can ask Jenny questions. So here, I request, let me see, Jenny, did we ask her a question? Right here. So Jenny would have received a notification asking this question and a link back to the deal. So the administrator said, hey, Jenny, great job on the deal. Check the commissions for me. Thanks, Tracy. Looks good to me. So we can go ahead and add that comment. Now we can see that Jenny and Tracy have had a conversation, and we're not going to have to reverse and recut that commission check. So that makes it easy for everyone to communicate and everyone to be on the same page. Some of the legacy systems out there do have a place for agents to log in, but it's typically not to the same platform. Typically to another platform that is trying to feed information for the agent, and that can end up in frustration and mistakes. So when you're all logging into the source of data, you really do have some really fantastic transparency. So as Jenny, again, I mentioned that Jenny has the ability to see and download her own 1099s. So in this way, Jenny can go ahead and self-report. She's got the information she needs. Of course, the brokerage has control over when this becomes available for the agent. So if there was still some activity happening early January to close off December, you control as a brokerage when that agent can see the information. The other thing that Jenny can see on an ongoing basis is her own production. So if Jenny wanted to look at her year for 2018 and get her numbers for that year, she can just change that date range and she's going to see all of her details. She's going to see her gross commissions, her net commissions, all of her deductions, her sales volume, number of ends on the list and sell side. So all the stuff that she might want to use for self-promotion, etc., is at her fingertips. The other thing that's super handy for the agents is their own performance reporting. So again, if Jenny wants to take a look at what happened in 2018, she can go ahead and filter that date range. The end of the year here. And she's going to be able to see this same summary, right? Same summary that we were looking at before for the year. She can download this information, again, to the penny. It's going to show her deal by deal, when she was paid, how much she was paid, what her deductions, etc. She can see trends of business. So if she's really just looking for trends in her net pay, then she can deselect some of these little pieces of information that are graphing for me here, or select them as she likes. The other thing Jenny can do with this information, right now she's filtering to look at completed information. So these are closed deals that have been paid to her. She can change this view and say, I want to now look at pending, and I want to see what my first quarter of 2019 is shaping up to be, and maybe I have some late closers in December. So I'm going to go ahead and say January, February, March, show me what's going to happen. So now she has the ability to predict her own income based on the deals in the system that have not yet closed. And again, she can go ahead and download this detail as she likes. So she can see she has 14.5 ends that are set to close in the first 3 months of the year, with any laggers from December. So really, with the Loft solution, we are all about data, information, sharing it, moving it to the next spot, and just really trying to make life easy for the brokerage, the broker, the managers, the administrators, and the agents to always know what's going on and to be able to make good business decisions based on data that is readily at your fingertips. That pretty much wraps up our mid-level view of the Loft system. And I certainly welcome you to visit the Loft affiliate page on the Leverage website for more information and for links back to our website, links back to go ahead and book a live demo with us. We'd love to chat with you about your specific brokerage. And Dakota, do we have any questions that came in during the presentation?
Thank you so much, Tracy. And I just wanted to ask quickly in regards to training for onboarding agents to this program. What sort of training do you offer?
Sure. So that's a great question. So during the setup and migration of data, getting a brokerage on board, we're doing live training with all of the office staff, administrators, brokers, whoever is involved in the project. And then a lot of the brokerages will get us to do a webinar for their agents. So we'll do that depending on, and we can do something fairly customized depending on how you want your agents to be able to use the program. And then what we've done is we've created some really nice short 3-minute training videos for the agents. And that is what most brokerages use as a part of their onboarding package. And some are even using it as a part of their recruiting activity. So really nice, short and sweet videos that are not going to, take up too much time or cause someone to want to not watch them because they're too long, but really wraps up the information in a nutshell and allows them to take full advantage of their data views.
Great, perfect, thank you. And then we did have another question come in that said this does not integrate with QuickBooks, correct?
This integrates with Xero rather than QuickBooks. We will be doing an API Nation integration later in probably second quarter 2019. And there will be the ability to map accounting data to QuickBooks at that time. So right now it is Xero. We really strongly believe Xero is a great platform as well though. So if you're not familiar with Xero, I would absolutely encourage you to go to Xero.com. And I'll just show you here, .com. They've got some just fantastic learning resources, great little 1-minute videos and such like that, that'll give you a little orientation of what Xero's about. But yeah, we recommend Xero very strongly.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Tracy, thank you so much again for being here today. And to all of our attendees, if you would like to reach out to Tracy individually, we will circulate her contact information along with today's recording. And you can also find that, as she mentioned, on their Alliance page on the Leverage website. Thank you all again so much for being in attendance, and we hope you have a wonderful week.